If you followed our channel for like a long time, like way back to 2019, you might remember that back in 2019, we installed RV locks on every lock on our RV. Even our baggage door locks had RV locks on them. Those locks served us very well from when we installed them in 2019 all the way until we sold that RV in 2022. Never had any issues with it. They were great locks. So when we were outfitting this 410TH, obviously we installed RV locks, right? No, not really. That would have been too easy, and let me kind of explain why we didn't. It was really because of you guys, and we like to just try different products, see what's out there, try it out and see if we like it. Now, we didn't change our recommendation for RVLock. We just thought we'd try something different and see if there was anything that was maybe just as good or maybe even better. Turns out, no. When I was researching different locks to try out, I came across this Karmtech 10-digit lock. Now, I was kind of interested in a full 10-digit lock just because a lot of locks out there, the RV lock, even the lock on our Ford F450, the buttons have different numbers on them, but they're really just a button. So like on the RV lock or on our Ford, button 1 and 2 are one button, 2 and 3, and so on. So you've got the 8 or the 10 digits, but really only 4, sometimes 5 buttons. So I was curious just to try a full 10-digit lock. In testing that Karmtech lock, we ran into some issues pretty early on. If it's in direct sunlight or if it's too cold, either one of those situations will cause it to kind of seize up and not want to lock or unlock. Sun is shining right on this. I put in my code. Unlock, locked, can't get in. And that was a real problem. So we had planned on going back to RVLock anyway, but serendipitously, right about that time, RVLock reached out to see if we wanted to try their new V4 handle. The V4 is the one we had on our old RV, but it was the Gen 1. There's a newer version out now that has, a few feature upgrades, a different keypad, I think, that lasts longer. So when RVLock reached out, I chatted with them a little bit about the lock that we were testing and how it was a 10-digit lock, and I was kind of interested in that. Well, it turned out that they had a lock in development at that time that was exactly what I was looking for. It had the 10 digits and everything, and it was an RV lock, so I was, going to be confident in the quality. So we kept in touch with them on their development. It turns out it took about another year to go through their development process. They're really fastidious about that type of thing, which is good. We want to get a good product the first go round. But that new Trek lock is finally out. They sent us 2 for our 2 doors. They also sent us a few accessories to try out and give them feedback on and show to you guys. And they are the sponsor of this video today. So thank you to RVLock for sponsoring this video and supporting our channel. So I want to show you the install and programming and talk about the features of this new RV Trek lock. I also want to show you these accessories they sent, but we're going to start with the lock first, so let's get to the install. The install of this thing is super simple. It's even simpler than their V4 lock that we put in a while ago. Definitely simpler than the Karmtech that we installed. So obviously the first step is to remove whatever door handle you have in there right now, whether that's your stock lock or off-brand or V4 maybe. And that's super simple. That is usually just a few screws. There's a few screws to pop off here, a few screws on the end of the door here, and the thing just pops right out. It's really easy. Of course, you'll want to clean at the outside. If you've had it for a while, it's going to have some dirt and grime in there, so get all that cleaned off. The physical install, which you're going to see a little bit of here, is really simple. This is the front of the door lock. Once you have your old one off, this just pops right in, and then you'll have this plate and a couple of screws that go on the end of the door. You want to put those on, but don't tighten them down all the way, maybe like 90%. And then it's just a matter of putting on the back half of the lock. And you can see it's really straightforward. You've got 4 more Allen head screws. They give you a wrench for that to put in here. There is only 1 cable to connect, which makes it really easy. Once you get it on, depending on what type of lock you're replacing, which of course will determine the size of the hole that you have in your door, you may or may not have some flexibility in there, to kind of straighten it up left and right, kind of rotating it. And then you just tighten everything down and give it a shot and see how it closes. Nice. Now they do also include a slam latch plate, the part that this goes into. Ours that we have on here on stock are identical to the ones that we got from RVLock. So just for grins, I did replace it on the rear door. I didn't replace it on this one. I stuck with our stock lock because they are identical. If yours is different though, however, you will want to use RVLock's slam latch or slam plate or strike plate. That's what it's called. Now I will note here that one of the issues we had with our V4 on our 397 is that the way the V4 was shaped, where it kind of tapers off here and makes sort of a half moon or whatever, kind of shaped like that. We had an issue where the lock that we took off, the stock lock, left a big unpainted area. And on our 397, it was basically a dark black. When you have that unpainted area, it's just white underneath and it's really glaringly obvious. And on the V4 handle, a lot of that unpainted area was white and not covered, and it looked funky. Now RVLock, recognized this, and they came out with what was originally, I think, called a gasket. Now it's called a decal sticker, which is more accurate. And it basically is just a sticker that goes on behind the V4 and is wide enough to cover any unpainted areas from any stock locks you might have had. Now again, this isn't really an RVLock issue. This is a manufacturing /paint issue. I have tried to talk the paint people that do for Grand Design and probably a lot of others. I've tried to talk them into pulling the locks off before they paint the RV. I don't have a whole lot of pull there, so they're not doing that. They're not going to, I don't think. Maybe if you put a special request in, I don't know. But that issue is not as big of a deal with this new lock. You can see it's probably a little more closely shaped to a stock lock. However, it is a little bit shallower on this side right here, and we do have a little bit of unpainted area around this as well. So I did let RVLock know about that, and I believe they said they're going to come out with a sticker for this handle as well, in case you have that. We don't really need it because where our lock is where the white paint is, and you have to really get up close and look and notice that there is an unpainted area there. But just something you might run into, again, only if you've got a full body paint RV. If you've got a normal RV with the decals and stuff, this won't be an issue. Programming this lock is super, super easy. You've got one of those little indented little buttons that you push inside there with like a ballpoint pen or a paper clip or something like that. And it'll tell you put in your new code.
Enter new code, then press lock. Enter new code, then press lock. New code accepted.
Your new code can be anywhere between 2 and 8 digits long. I really like that flexibility, not sticking to just 4 digits. 2 digits is a little risky, but the thing is, nobody knows how many digits they need to punch in to open your door, so do what's comfortable for you. Just to give you an idea of the possible combinations here, if you take all 10 digits, remember that's part of what I liked about this was 10 separate digits, not overlapping or multi-number buttons. Take the number of buttons to the power of the number of digits. You've got 10 to the power of 8. That is 100 million different codes that you could put on one of these handles. It's a lot. Not that that's a big deal, but 100 million is kind of cool. Just for a comparison with like the V4, that the newer version of that can also do between 2 and 8 digits, but you're dealing with 4 buttons there. So if you take that 4 buttons to the power of 8 possible digits, you get a little over 65,000 combinations. So still a ton. Not 100 million, which is really cool, but 65,000 still. I don't think anybody's going to stand outside your door and try 65,000 different combinations. It's just not going to happen. Programming these remotes is also very simple. You just push a button on there, and then you push a button on here, and that is it.
Connect your remote. Remote connected.
But I do want to make one note about this. The relationship of the programming between the locks, when I say locks plural because we've got 2 of them, and many people may have if they've got a toy hauler or something with 2 doors like this. The remote does come with 2 separate lock unlocks, so you could program more than one remote to a lock, You can also program more than one lock to a remote. And I'm using the term fob and remote here interchangeably. Those are the same thing. So it's this many-to-many relationship that could be set up. It gives you a lot of flexibility. So if you've got a remote and you want to program one to the front door, one to the back door, one to one, that's easy. If I wanted to do one to the front door and have the bottom one, the other one on here do both locks at the same time, I could do that. You just have a lot of flexibility in programming. And as a note to that, if you want to start over and erase all of the fobs from your lock, you just hold down that programming button, I think for like 10 seconds, and it'll tell you all codes erased.
Remote memory reset.
You do have a lot of flexibility to program these however makes sense for you. I think it'd be kind of neat. I'm going to take one of these and program it to both locks and keep it in the bedroom on the nightstand. I might even mount it. Then all I got to do is push one button and lock both doors from the bedroom. That's pretty cool. I like that. So let's jump into the operation and features. On the inside of the lock here, you've got one single button to lock it, or you could lock or unlock electronically. And you've got a mechanical lock that you can slide if you just feel like being mechanical or the battery's dead or something. This thing has a dual lock cylinder, so the single lock will lock both the latch and the deadbolt side, which I really like. On the stock lock, you have the option of only locking the deadbolt. To lock the latch, you actually have to use the key on the outside. There's no way to lock both from the inside. I like being able to push one button and have both of those lock. And when you do lock both the latch and the deadbolt, that means the paddle is locked on the outside. So when you lock this thing, it's fully locked. Both the deadbolt and the latch are both locked with one cylinder. I think that's really cool. I like that feature. Also on the inside of the lock, you've got your volume control, which is really, really cool. The new sound can be adjusted to 3 different levels. And even on the loudest level, it's not like waking up your neighbors.
Volume setting high. Volume setting medium. Volume setting low. Mute.
Also on the inside is a USB charging port. So this is something new with the V4 that I like also. It's rechargeable. You don't have to swap batteries or do anything like that. Now, the literature says that it will last 3 to 6 months. Of course, that'll depend on how much you're using it. We haven't had it long enough to have it die. We still have the charge stock out of the box. So we can't really speak to how long we will have between charges, but per usual, as we learn more, if we learn anything new, things like that, we do put them in a highlighted portion of our blog. We'll also put it in the description down below to kind of let you know after we've used it, because obviously we can't edit these videos after the fact. Since it is USB though, it's USB-C, you'll need some way, of course, somewhere to plug it in. Now we have a USB port that's not too far, maybe 4 or 5 feet there that we could use from our island. You could also, of course, use like one of these little battery packs. We've got a few of these that we keep in our camera bag and laptop bags, just because you never know when you're going to need a charge. You know, we take them when we hike and stuff too. These things are handy. We'll put a link to this one down below, but there's literally probably hundreds of them available online, and they're not expensive. The charge will take between 30 and 60 minutes, depending on, of course, the power you're supplying to it and, you know, how low the battery is to begin with. Also on the inside, you've got what they call the pivot grip handle, and they make some notes about it being easier to open or, you know, hold your door closed or something. For me, though, it's just a matter of kind of retraining your muscle memory, simply because it's different. Anytime you're used to using a door, you get to where you just don't think about it and your hands go to certain ways. And it takes a little while to retrain you from gripping this way to gripping this way. It's not a big deal, but I do like that it's kind of a whole open area here, so you can grab the entire thing and pull the door closed. So I do like that. It just takes a little getting used to having it in different places all. Outside, obviously, is very simple. You've got just your 10-digit keypad, your lock button here, and of course, you've got a physical bolt lock for the actual locking mechanism. And of course, the handle's nice and big. It is backlit, so it, you know, lights up at night, which is nice and cool. I also like that the operation is a little bit simpler. This is just one button, so when you're leaving, you don't have to put your code in or anything. You push the one button and you walk away and you're good to go. Also, when you're putting in your code to get back in, whether it's 2 digits or 8 digits or whatever, as soon as you finish your code, it unlocks. You don't have to do your code and then press unlock. So they kind of thought of all the little things that are, you know, kind of neat little conveniences. Also on the front, kind of hidden behind the lock, there is a little waterproof port there for another USB cable to attach and charge it. This is in case of emergency. Let's say you're in storage for months or whatever, and you forget to charge your lock and your lock is dead and you locked your keys inside. You can hook up a power supply to this USB port right in here, just like the one on the outside, give it time to take a charge, open it up, and then charge it from the inside. We've been using the new RVLock Trek now for several weeks. Like I mentioned, we got kind of a pre-release copy, so we've been getting used to it and testing it out. So far, we really, really like it. I have confirmed that we don't have any issues with heat. Direct sunlight test. No problem. Per usual, we test these things over time. During our testing, our ownership of it, if we come across anything new that you should know about, like if it does have jam and cold or anything like that, or if there are any updates, we always put those in the description down below, and usually in a pinned comment and in the blog post. So if you're watching this several months down the road and you want to see if there are any updates, look down below. Next, I want to show you some of these cool accessories that go with this RVLock that they sent for us to check out. But before I do, just in case you want to bug out and go buy an RVLock and you don't care about the accessories, be sure to use our links down below and use code CHANGINGLANES at checkout. That will get you 10% off. That's no small chunk of change. That's pretty cool. Thank you, RVLock, for that discount code. Also, RVLock does have a lifetime warranty on these things, and they have a 30-day return policy. So, you know, if you get it and you try it out, it doesn't work for you, you can return it. First up is this Access latch extender. There are several latch extenders that we've seen out there from various other companies. The cool thing about this one is, and if you're not familiar with what a latch extender is, we'll have kind of a demo on the screen here, but it essentially extends your handle all the way down, so it makes it easier to grab and open. You don't have to climb upstairs or whatever. For some people, if you're height challenged, you don't have to reach quite as high, you've got it down below. The cool thing about this is this integrates and acts almost like a key fob. You can do your own 10-digit code down here, and when you press the code in, it sends a signal just like a key fob. So you essentially just have your keypad down lower or up high. So I kind of like that. Now, I wanted to test this out, but since we have our Ring Video doorbell right below our lock, and that's permanently mounted and screwed in there, we didn't put this on. But I'm really curious if you've got one of these and you tried any kind of latch extender or this particular one out. We'd love to hear what you think of it, but this was something that we unfortunately couldn't try out. The next accessory I want to show you real quick is this QuickLock Screen Crossbar. I think I got that right. This is another one of those things where there are several companies making crossbars that go across this the screen door portion, the inside part of your door system here, because this screen door, at least ours, and a lot of them that we've seen, doesn't have a handle on it anywhere. It's just got a little tiny handle down below where you can use that to open it, but it's down there. And it's just not real super friendly. So they have things like this already. The cool thing about this is, like the other thing, like the Access, it integrates with the RVLock. And this one really is more like just a fob because it's on the inside of the RV. You program it just like a fob, and it's got a little lock, unlock right here on the handle. It's just kind of convenient. And this is, again, one of those things where it's kind of, I'm kind of having to get used to it. I like it when I remember it's there, like when you're pushing the door open and it's swinging. I don't have to find a place to kind of grab onto it to stop it from swinging out. I can just use this big handle here, so I do like that. Now, the last thing I want to address here, because I know a lot of you will have this question, is what about the baggage locks like we had on our old 397? And why don't we have them on this RV? Well, the simple answer is there is a different type of baggage door lock on this RV versus our 397. And this particular type of lock, they don't have a replacement for, but they are working on one. And of course, once they come out, we will get one of those. If you're curious about how, if your RV can take one of the baggage door locks, they do have a fit guide. I'll have a link to the baggage door lock down below. And if you click on the fit guide, be sure to check the right option after that. I think it's baggage locks. And then you basically will be shown a picture of what your current baggage lock looks like. You select it and they'll tell you if it'll fit or it won't. Of course, when they do come out with a baggage lock that will fit our RV, we'll definitely be trying that out. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already when we actually make that video. This last accessory I'm going to share with you guys, I'm kind of excited about, even though it has nothing at all to do with locks or codes or anything like that. And that is this ANKR RV flag mount. I've been searching for a flag option for a while, and every time I do, it gets super complicated with all the different options out there. This is simple. You stick it on, you pull these things down to mount it and suck it on there, and pop a flag in here. I just got an inexpensive one from Lowe's, and my flag issues are solved, and it looks great. Remember, if you want to order an RV lock, use the code Changing Lanes at checkout. That way you get 10% off. Thank you to RVLock for hooking our viewers up with that 10% discount. We really appreciate it. Per usual, if you have any questions about this lock or whatever, install functionality, whatever, put them down below. We'll try to get to those. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Please give us a thumbs up if you liked this video, and we'll see you next week.